Hi, welcome back to Brooksy's Bass Corner and my essential bass album videos, looking back at albums that in my view are essential listening for any bass player. It might be an album that sold millions worldwide and thrust that bassist onto megastardom, or it might be an album that didn't sell particularly well, but cut a niche for a particular bassist to propel the band or artist onto greater things. Or it might just be a great album in terms of the bass performance. Either way, I think these albums deserve your attention. And perhaps by watching this video, you might be intrigued to check out the album for yourself. And who knows, maybe it will excite you as much as it excited me when I first discovered it. Sadly, due to copyright restrictions, I can't use audio examples from the album, but where suitable, I will indicate particular songs and their timestamp that I'm referring to. If you enjoy the video, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell so that you receive notifications when I post a new video, and please give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any comments regarding the album being discussed or the video, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. On with this episode's album, it's Queen's A Night at the Opera. When Queen began writing material for A Night at the Opera in 1975, they faced a real dilemma. Their management were fleecing them of their royalties. They had to write a hit single that could improve upon Killer Queen, a #2 hit, and their fourth album had to do the business in terms of sales. Otherwise they were facing being dropped by their record label EMI. They needed a killer album to send them into rock's stratosphere, but nobody could have foreseen what a milestone the band would produce, let alone the magnum opus single that would propel the album to millions of album sales worldwide. Upon its release in November 1975, the album stayed at #1 in the UK album charts for 4 weeks and peaked at #4 in the US Billboard Albums chart. The album has sold in excess of 6 million copies worldwide, and this figure has continued to grow with re-releases of the Queen catalogue over the decades, and also with the renewed global interest in the band following the release of the Bohemian Rhapsody film in 2018. John Deacon used his familiar Fender Precisions for the bulk of the bass tracks, and although he was using acoustic 370 amps paired with acoustic 301 reflex cabs and a high watt amp driving Sound City 4x12 cabinets at the time, the album was predominantly recorded direct via the desk and a DI box, and his basses were fitted with rotor sound flat wound strings for less string noise and a thick tone. The album opener, Death on Two Legs, is Freddie Mercury's attempt to put down on record his vitriolic feelings about the band's ex-manager. Check out the smooth and tasty bass run at 2 minutes 54 that eventually matches Freddie's vocal part. Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon and Seaside Rendezvous were early indicators that Queen might be pushing the envelope in the studio in much the same way as the Beatles had done with Sgt. Pepper. And over time this album has become Queen's equivalent tour de force. John's bass part and note choices on Lazing on a Sunday Afternoon are particularly McCartney-esque. You're My Best Friend shows just how much this was a collective of equally talented songwriters, John Deacon on bass and electric piano duties no less, chipping in with a song that has become a radio favourite around the world with millions of plays, as well as being featured in countless adverts on TV and in film. And what a bass line, the staccato runs totally fit the arrangement. 39 features our bass hero on one of his very few recorded outings on double bass, although when played live he resorted to his sunburst fretless Fender Precision. The Prophet song features a detuned E string down to a low D and is a feast for stereo lovers, a much revered Queen track that illustrated the band's use of the studio and all the recording techniques at their disposal. They essentially made technology work for them and used the studio like an extra instrument, ably assisted by engineer Mike Stone and producer Roy Thomas Baker. Love of My Life is draped in a piano arrangement with guitar flourishes, while the icing on the cake is some exemplary tasteful bass playing from John, playing exactly what the track requires and giving the arrangement some space and dynamics. Good Company showcases Brian's Red Special to produce an array of tones to create the sound of a jazz band. Listen on headphones to hear all the nuances of each guitar part, and particularly at 1 minute 9 up to 1 minute 29, where John's bass part mimics a tuba. God Save the Queen brings the album to a close, but rewind to track 11. Who knows how big this album would have been without Bohemian Rhapsody? Indeed, would Queen have become the colossal band they became and continue to be, were it not for Freddie's masterstroke, perhaps his defining legacy? How they managed to keep a rein on each instrument with no one standing on the other's toes is quite remarkable. John's bass performance is perfect. Can you imagine the bass part played any differently? From the single notes and slides in the first two verses through to his underpinning of Dr. May's solo from 2 minutes 36, the extra weight the bass brings to the operatic section with its pushes and runs, finishing with the pulse and syncopated lines in the rock section up to 4 minutes 50, and the delicate mid-neck work on the outro, it's all there to be heard. Nothing would be the same for the band from this point forward. There is little I can add to its magnificence that hasn't already been said many times over, and will we ever see or hear a song like it again? Possibly not, but turn the volume up to 11, revel in John Deacon's masterful bass playing, and enjoy this album loud. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the subscribe button below, hit the notification bell so that you receive notifications when I post new videos, and please give the video a thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you have any comments regarding the album or the video, leave them below and I'll come back to you as soon as I can. Look forward to seeing you here again on Brooksy's Bass Corner.